40 days and 40 nights, November 30th, -2726. The next enjoyably challenging puzzle to decipher is what happens at the end of the 40 days of rain. First, we started with a unique planetary conjunction at the start of the rains, in the letter constellation Mem, which means water. Does this narrative only have a single unique planetary event? Or are there more events to be observed? What can we see at the end of 40 days in the night sky? At the start of the conjunction, we read, "For after 7 more days I will cause it to rain on the earth 40 days and 40 nights." It later reads, "In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, in the 17th day of the month, on that day all the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened, and the rain was on the earth 40 days and 40 nights." So let's now move the time ahead 40 days from the day of the conjunction and see what the record has left for us. Genesis 7 reads, "Now the flood was on the earth 40 days, and the waters increased and lifted up the ark, and it rose above the earth." And in Genesis 8 it reads, "But God remembered Noah, and all the beasts, and all the cattle that were with him in the ark. And God caused the wind to pass over the earth, and the water subsided. Also the fountains of the deep and the floodgates of the sky were closed, and the rain from the sky was restrained." The fountains of rain opened at the start, then closed at the end of 40 days. Here we discover there are several interesting events. On this day, the sun, moon, and planets now appear like a dot-to-dot line in stellarium. Mars seems to be too close to the sun to be visible. Mercury's apparent retrograde motion has it appearing for a few minutes at sunset, and is on the verge of disappearing into the sunset. We are decrypting this calendar system around the main theme of the narrative, that is, water. We observed, at the beginning of the rains, the Teba box rises up off the eastern horizon, atop the blue water-like band of stars, rising up on a fountain of the deep. The red band of stars sunk below the horizon and now remains blotted out from view. All the mountains are covered with the same blue band of stars from east to west, directly overhead. The first verses of chapter 8 describes the end of the 40 days of rain. God caused a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters subsided, and he closed the fountains of the deep and the floodgates of the heavens, and he restrained the rain from the heavens. It seems reasonable to investigate the letters of the Alef Tav star map at the end of 40 days. Let's go back to the beginning of the flood and pay attention to the transit of the sun over the letter constellations. At the beginning of the 40 days, the sun was in Mem, which means water, then passes through Nun, which means fish, then through Samek, which has the sense of a support. Then, at the end of 40 days, the sun is in Ain, which means eye or fountain. Genesis 8 read, "And he closed the fountains of the deep and the windows of heaven, and he restrained the rain from heaven." The end of 40 days is November 30th, -2726. On this day, the sun is leaving Samek and entering the constellation Ain. The phrase, "and he closed the fountains" in 8 verse 2, in their root forms, starts with Samek and Ain.
ויסחרו מעיינות תהום.
The Samek marks the edge of the dense band of stars. The Ain is next to the Samek outside the Milky Way. With careful observation of the planets, we discover that the planet Mercury appears to stop moving in relation to the backdrop of stars and then begins to move backwards. Mercury was visible in the sunset horizon and is now starting to disappear. The letter Ain has the sense of an eye or spring or fountain of water. The words fountains is closely related to Ain, spring. It seems there may be a play on the constellation calendar letter in the narrative when he closes the fountains. We will now spend a bit of time thinking about the letters on the Alef Tav star chart. In the next chapter, we will start with Ain, an eye or fountain.